So this meeting is now being live streamed.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone. Um, Good morning to you everyone in India. It's about 11:04 in Central Texas time where I am. Um, so today we have gathered. This short and sweet meeting is for a very important topic, which many of the participants had requested. So many people wanted to know um, a little bit about the DP 600 and 700 certifications, what they are. Some people joined us early on. Some people joined us later when we had shared all the information. We had done an initial demo. So for those people, we might for those people who don't even know what Fabric is, we'll provide a high level information about that. But the main focus of today's seminar is to talk about DP 600, DP 700, and the experience of maybe I'll pick up Sanjay, maybe a couple other people who join us later. I'll pick up people where they'll share how they took that exam. We'll talk about some tips and techniques to prepare for that exam, resources available, and what were some of the tips with which they were successful. We will also cover the most important thing that people have wanted to ask is about the workshop that is starting from 13th October, Monday. So we are starting an extensive workshop. It's a paid workshop where we'll be covering our syllabus. So we'll take some time and show you the syllabus. If anybody has any pending questions on that, we'll talk about how to. We'll give you bank and UPI information, other stuff in the group um, for those who quickly want to enroll, so that we can move them to the premium group and they can start the exercise. But primarily, today's topic is about DP 600 and 700. So in the hopefully some of you have watched the previous Fabric video that we had. Sanjay gave a great presentation on that. I think Prachi has done one more video on Fabric. But let me just say, why is Fabric such a big deal, right? So first of all, before, when we did not have Fabric in our lives, we anybody who was doing data analysis or data engineering was using 6 to 8 separate tools. They were using Azure Data Factory, Synapse, Power BI, ML, ADLS, and each of these things required different configurations, different permissions, and different data copies, right? So this was the scenario before Fabric. Now after Fabric came, everything got unified. So everything sits on the top of something called as one lake. It has one unified security, one unified governance, one unified billing model, one interface, one INT, one lifecycle. So when I keep on saying one, 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 the reason I keep saying one is everything is unified under one roof, which is called MS Fabrics. It has a deep integration with Power BI, Copilot, Microsoft 365. So, so it has made people's life very easy, and it's a very hot thing in the market today, with which people early next year uh, when the recruitment cycle goes full swing. Well, first of all, let me tell you, even currently, I wrote an article about the hiring cycle in 2025. So while some of the positions have slowed down, data engineering has not slowed down. People are hiring left and right. They're hiring did lots of data engineers and analytics people, and either they're going with the hot premium things are MS Fabric, especially for those who are the companies which have already invested in previous Microsoft products. They are finding it very easy to move, learners are finding easy to upgrade themselves, and so on and so forth. So, data engineering as a profession is an exception to the normal hiring cycle. Normally, things slow down in October, November, they start slowing down, but data engineering is not slowing down, guys. That's a very positive sign. So October, November, December is the time I ask people to, if you have plans to learn a new technology, upskill on something, this is a golden period, the best time, right? So, so now what the topic of today is, what exactly is 600 or 700, right? 600 and 700 are certifications. 600, DP 600 is focused on analytics, fabric analytics engineer, right? And DP 700 is focused on data engineering. And each of these have different focus areas. So we will talk about, so when we talk about DP 600, right? DP 600, it is basically focusing on building and maintaining analytic solutions. It to talk about data ingestion, transformation, modeling, analytics, that kind of thing. So basically, what the skill that you're developing is how to prepare data, how to transform data, how to query data, how to build models, how to maintain data analytics solutions. So that's the DP600. And you don't have to remember all this. In a minute, Sanjay will talk a little bit about it the moment I hand it over to him. Now, DP700 is the data engineering solutions, where it is focused on the engineering side, which is ingestion, transformation, orchestration, architecture, real time pipelines, optimization, monitoring, all those kind of things. So they have a slight focus, and many of the MNCs earlier they said it's nice to have. Nowadays, many people, especially those who are Power BI analysts in the BA roles or DA roles or DS roles, everybody is being asked to upskill or literally perish. If they are not upskilling, actually, I've been approached by many candidates just yesterday from our own COE people who have become data engineers or who are taking interviews. They are being asked questions about, do you know cloud, do you know fabrics? So learning Excel, SQL, and Power BI is no longer sufficient. Um, so, which is why we thought in the COE, the leadership gathered together and we said we must run a specialized course on this. So to recap, Sanjay had taken a orientation seminar, uh, I think last week, and then Prachi had taken another one, and we keep on having these kind of seminars, and we are running two different groups. One is the general group, which will continue. We'll continue to have notes, discussions, all information sent there, but we'll also have a paid group where we have a structured learning program. Having said that, let's jump on to our topic at hand, which is sharing experiences. So I would like to invite, I'm not sure if Prachi and Nilay are going to join us soon. I expect them to. But otherwise, we have Sanjay, who has been a solutions architect and is also a lead data engineer. He's going to share some experiences about his viewpoint on what DP600 is, what 700 is, and how to prepare for those exams, tips and techniques, resources, and once he's done, you can ask him basic questions that you have, right? And and then we'll talk about the program that we have and what are we doing, and all the other logistics related to the program. So everybody clear? Say yes or no.
Yes, yes.
Alrighty, thank you. So I hand over the floor to. So first of all, thanks to Prem Sai for scheduling this meeting um, on the demand of the audience, and I would hand over the floor to give the floor to Sanjay Chandra. So welcome, Sanjay. I'm going to be on mute, and you can lead from here.
Yeah, thanks, Arun. Hello, everyone. So I know today is weekend, everyone is in that weekend mood, I understand. But this session, one of the reasons for starting Fabric Group and also hosting these sessions is there is a lot of demand for Fabric. when Arun has shared one of the polls about Fabric, a lot of people have shown interest, and that is another reason to create that premium group. So because initially Arun said we want like 25, at least 25 people who are interested, but we got much more than that. So looking at the response, we thought, okay, we have to have a separate group for Fabric, and also like separate focus which is needed apart from Azure, which is already available. So just to add on to what Arun has said, yes, there is a lot of demand for Fabric. And just to recap the previous session which we had. So in the previous session, I just showed the overview of Fabric, like what are different components which are there, how do we run the notebooks, like copy activity, few small things in the data factory side, and also the UI part of the Fabric, like how Fabric looks and everything. So this session will be like continuation of that. So in case you haven't gone through that session, there is also a recording which we have shared the link that you can watch after this. So for without wasting your time, I would like to talk about DP600 first. Now, even before I talk about DP600, so can someone, I want to keep this interactive. I don't want the session to be like one-sided, right? So here I would like to, either you can use your chat box or you can even speak up if you want. So either is fine. So let me ask one question. So today, if you see, there are a lot of uh, you can say a lot of job openings which are there, different roles are available in the market. And also like you will see like two extremes you will see. So on one extreme, if you open LinkedIn, everyone will be posting that they got 5 job offers, 10 job offers, 20 job offers. And on the other hand, you see like there are people who are struggling, not able to get even a single interview call, people just struggling to make their to meet their ends, having challenges in their different kinds of challenges, etc. So according to you, what do you think is the main reason for this two extremes? Like probably you can tell it in one sentence or one word, whichever you want. Probably you can use chat box or you can use the platform to speak up. Anything is fine. Okay, right skill set, one answer we got. Okay, specific tool knowledge. Okay. Okay, right skill set, right portfolio. Okay. One second. Let me just, I'm joining on other screen as well. Just, yeah. Okay, any other responses? Hello?
Hello?
Just give me a moment.
Yes, somebody said that everything is good, but they may have the right skill set, but in certain cases, the resume or the LinkedIn is not optimized, and they don't know how to apply or where to apply.
Okay, the tool related to the project. Okay. Okay, I'm looking for more responses, more active participation.
I think I loved Ganesh's perception of it, where he said they may not have the right skill set. So, for example, they might still be using legacy technologies. That's what I understand from this. And the word is moving towards, more cloud-based, unified technologies.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to just scribble here. So, okay. So let's try to see what is the main reason from my perspective. Like, so it's an open-ended question. Now there can be different viewpoints. Now I'll share my perspective and I'll tell you, it is not just about Fabric in general. So this you can apply to any technology or any tool for whichever you can say platform you want, not just limited to Microsoft. Okay. So generally what Ganesh said, I think he has given the right point, I would say. So basically, when you talk about any technology, there is always that supply and demand which will be there, right? So generally what happens, the demand will be here somewhere in the top. So imagine this is the demand, like demand is going on. So the demand will be like this, like let's say demand will be like this. Now or demand can also keep increasing like this. Now supply will be somewhere at the bottom. Let me use a different color. So let's say supply is here. Now this supply will keep on increasing, and the demand will grow and supply also will grow. Supply will outpace, and suddenly we will reach a point where both of them will meet. So whenever you are learning any technology or any tool, you should make sure that you learn that technology or tool in this window. In this window. Why? Because there's a gap. So this is the gap you have to take advantage of. Whether I mean it's Power BI or Power Platform, any technology for that matter. The minute it crosses this point, this intersection, then what will happen is your supply, whatever is there. So this is supply, right? So this is demand. So what will happen is your supply, and so this is also, let's say, demand, it's straight curve or whatever. So when this point crosses, what happens is there is a saturation in the market. That means what will happen, companies will be more selective in their hiring. So instead of having 2 rounds, they'll conduct 4 rounds. Because what will happen, the advantage will be with the companies. So when the supply is more and demand is less, then companies will have choice. If there are 10 candidates, they can pick and choose which candidate they want. But as long as there is a very big gap in the market here, what will happen is, just to hire one person, they will spend a lot of time. Even if they find one person just knowing the basics and up to like medium level of knowledge, that is more than enough for the company to just hire that person, right? So basically what I'm saying is, the more time passes, the more supply will catch up, and it will become more and more difficult to adapt to that platform. And this is applicable for anything. I still remember, like I think 3 years back, one of my friend is telling, just if you know very basic level of Databricks and very basic level of ADF, that was enough for people to get selected. Now today, if you see the interviews, they are little bit one level higher, and they'll keep on getting tougher. The same thing I'm seeing with Fabric as well. Right now, if you see the interviews, or if you know anyone who has attended Fabric interviews, even if that person has very basic level of knowledge of Fabric, they are getting through. Because they, now you might ask, but Sanjay, why will someone hire someone who is just mediocre or someone who is average? The reason is, now companies are building their bench, right? So basically, imagine I am Infosys. Now if I'm Infosys, for example, what will happen, I need to get more project, right? More projects. So how will I get more projects? Being, let's say, if I'm Infosys, what they will do is, to get projects they have to sign contracts. Now in order to get more contracts, first let's say they go and approach a client. Now the client will say, okay, fine, we are interested in Fabric, we can sign a contract, but do you have resources ready? Then Infosys will tell, hey, we have a bench of 100 people ready for Fabric, ready to be deployed in this project. So in order for the contract to get signed and confirmed, they need to show the bench strength to say that people are ready to jump in. Now when you need a bench strength, what needs to happen? First they have to hire, and they have to make sure that they have that bench. So hiring should happen. Now the problem what happens here is, when the hiring happens, they'll put people on bench, and there'll be some time gap, like 1 or 2 months time gap will be there, and then they'll be assigned to the project. Now in this 1 or 2 months time gap, what companies are doing is, even if someone knows very basic level of Fabric, for example, they are just hiring them, they are putting them in this bench, and they are asking them to clear DP600 and DP700 for sure. Only when they clear, they'll go and assign it to the client project. This is exactly is what happening. Now you might say, why to hire people and then make them clear DP 600, 700? Why not find people in the market who already cleared it? That is exactly where the point I'm coming back to. Now, why do we need DP 600, 700? Because of 2 reasons. One is, either you must have recently joined a new company and they might have asked you to clear. That is one particular reason why people are clearing DP. DP600. Now the second reason is you're upskilling on your own. So you're upskilling on your own and you're already getting certified. So you'll stand out when people are hiring. So today, what I am observing is you take any company, even big four like PwC, Deloitte, EY, and KPMG, all these companies like TCS, Accenture, like all these companies, they are increasing their bench strength and everyone is fighting for fabric projects. Now, if you go to Naukri, for example, okay, just go to Naukri, you can do this exercise right away. Like if you have system in front of you, just type the keyword fabric and see how many job openings are there. And also just type Azure and see. Almost you can compare them. So like 1 year back or 2 years back, if you do this kind of comparison, there will be huge difference. But today, if you just go to Naukri and see, and if you can tell me what are the numbers, just one of you can be a volunteer and tell me what numbers do you find for this keyword and this keyword in Naukri.
Sanjay, 3-4 years back, we heard a lot about Power BI because there's a lot
Correct.
of push in the last few years.
Yeah.
And now Fabric came in 2023 May, and the licensing I think was available from November onwards.
Right.
So Fabric itself is not any more than 2.5 years old.
Yes.
So therefore, there's a huge demand because it has unified everything. So
Yes.
nowadays, earlier if I was finding ads on a lot of ads on Power BI, the ads have multiplied on Fabric.
True. True. Yes, we got the number for Fabric, 1,34,850 jobs. What about Azure? Can anyone get me the number for Azure on Naukri? Okay. So if you see, both are comparable. So 1 year back, if you would have seen these numbers, they would be drastically different. Like Azure will be like 2 times, like it will be 3 times, 4 times. So it's far, far ahead. Now, if you see, there is only a 20,000 difference, which is very great. Like compared to what it was 1 year back or even 1.5 year back, it was Fabric was literally non-existent. But today, if you see, this is the number. Now, can you also search for another keyword Power BI and tell me how many are there? Now you will come to know why we are doing this exercise. Okay, so for Power BI, if you see 1,36,933. Now, if you look at the demand, right? Fabric and Power BI almost you will see same, right? Almost same demand you will see. But where where the difference comes is in supply. Now look at the market. How many people have
Sorry to interrupt.
versus how many people have DP600 and DP700? So supply is the place where you will find the differentiation for all three, not just Fabric or Power BI. For all three, supply is the place where you will find the difference. Right now, if you look at the supply side, these are the two technologies where there is a severe shortage. I mean, companies are struggling to find talent for both of them. And particularly if someone is from Power BI background or someone is from, let's say, SQL background or anyone who dealt with data at least, they are all trying to push towards Fabric because Fabric is something which is tightly integrated with Microsoft. So obviously here Fabric is something which is closest to Power BI compared to Azure or any other technologies which are there. Okay, this is one thing. Now let's talk about another important aspect about DP600 and DP700. Now Microsoft is giving so many vouchers to their partners, right? So Microsoft will have a lot of partners. And one of my friend working with Microsoft, he actually told me that, okay, two aspects I'll tell you. One is Microsoft partners, okay? So what they are doing is they are giving lakhs of vouchers for free. Like if you work in a company where Microsoft is the partner, official partner, then you can freely clear DP600, DP700 without spending a single rupee. That is first. Now, the second aspect to this is when you talk about Microsoft, right now, Microsoft has support teams, right? Support teams means, let's say if you get any issue with Databricks or Data Factory, you raise a ticket. When you raise a ticket, what happens? It will go to the support team. Now in support team, you have different levels, L1, L2, L3, like that, you have different levels. Now in Microsoft support, there are so many hirings which happened for Data Factory, Databricks, like Azure Databricks basically, for these two technologies. And now also hiring is still happening very aggressively. Now recently what happened was, in one of the Microsoft offices, they suddenly got a headcount approval for more than 100 plus. In ADF and ADP, they are moving the entire crowd to Fabric. Now, why they are moving entire crowd to Fabric? Because whenever you are hiring for any position, first preference will be given to internal employees. If you cannot find anyone internally, then only you'll go and hire externally. So these support roles are basically, whenever you raise a ticket, Microsoft person will connect and they'll resolve, right? So the demand within Microsoft itself is so high that everyone is jumping into Fabric. Why? Because they also know that this is the emerging technology. Like there are people who have been on the support of Azure for many, many years, and they all jumped the ship to Fabric. And all the people who are working in ADF and ADB roles, they are all clearing these two DP600 and DP700 certifications to get ready for their new roles. And for your information, now a lot of people have this misconception, or people have this you can say inferiority complex when it comes to support. People think, are support role, like you are just raising tickets, you are just resolving the tickets and all, right? For your information, recently the managers who are working in support team in Microsoft in India, everybody got a iPhone 16 Pro Max for their annual appraisal. Everybody, right? For managers. And for employees, they all got gift vouchers worth 5,000 or 10,000 something, including contract employees. Now, why am I telling this? Because the technology is very good, and that is the reason why all of this is happening, right? There is a wave which is coming. Why people will hire more support roles when there are more customers adopting it? Now imagine if the demand for Fabric is very less, why will Microsoft hire more support engineers? They'll not hire, right? Either they'll cut down their benefits, or they'll keep the headcount same, or they'll cut down the headcount. But for these departments, the headcount is increasing. And there is a lot of people internally who want to switch rather than someone getting hired externally. That is one thing happening. Okay, this is another aspect to DP600 and 700. Now let me give you the final aspect. Right now, 80% of Fortune 500 companies are either experimenting or adopted Fabric, right? 80% of the Fortune 500. Second thing is, when you talk about DP600 and DP700 in particular, there are two parts to it. This is the analytics part, and this is the data engineering part. Okay, so data engineering part, data analytics part. Now the question always comes, which one should I clear? Should I clear DP600 or should I clear DP700? Now, if you ask me, if you are already working on Power BI, then the closest certification which you can have is this one, analytics, like DP600. Half of the questions will be from Power BI, right? The second thing is DP700. Now, with respect to DP700, a lot of people, they don't have much idea because it has less of Power BI, more of Fabric. Now, I'll tell you a very, very important thing about Fabric, which is related to DP700. Earlier, there used to be one certification called DP203. It is called Azure Data Engineer Associate, if I'm not wrong, right? So this certification was retired by Microsoft in 2025. It's no longer available. If you go to website and if you say DP203, it will say this exam got retired. In place of Azure Data Engineering Associate, they introduced a new certification called DP700 for Fabric. So basically, whoever used to upskill in DP, whoever used to upskill and write this DP203 Azure certification, they are the guys who are actually going ahead and shifting towards DP700. And Microsoft is also pushing them to clear DP700 rather than DP203. And that is the reason why they discontinued this. So if you look at the overall picture, DP600 is more for analytics. Like it is like you can say, if you are someone who already cleared PL300, in future you will see more of DP600. Like whoever have cleared PL300 will be pushed to clear DP600 because DP600 is next level of PL300. And whoever have cleared DP203 in the previous years, they are getting pushed to clear DP700. So these certifications are basically one level above PL300 and one level above DP203. So that is how these two certificates are related. Now, coming to the roles. Now, Fabric is something which is like set of different tools. Okay. Now it has Power BI, Lakehouse, Warehouse, then you have notebooks, Dataflow Gen 2, Fabric Workspaces, OneLake Storage, Amazon, Microsoft Purview, all these things are, and Copilot, all these things are there. Now, if you want to really aspire, like if you are looking at the next 5 years of your data or analytics journey, what I will suggest is you need a combination of DP600 plus DP700. Both are important. Now, why both are important? Because DP700 will cover ingestion, you can say ETL transformations, and then once these transformations, everything is done, then you will give it to analytics. Analytics, why you will give? It is for reporting, right? This is for reporting purpose. So if you think about it, it's an end-to-end solution. You start directly from the source, get the data through pipelines, then you do the ETL, then you visualize. So this is the destination. So this is the destination. So this end-to-end execution cycle is what Fabric will give you. Now the question will always be there. But which one should I clear first? Should I take DP700 first or should I take DP600 first? My suggestion is, if you already know Power BI, if you already are certified in PL300, first clear DP600, then go to DP700. If you are starting from scratch, don't go with 600, go with 700, then come to 600. Why I am telling you? Because you look at the cycle. DP600 is more close to the source. DP700 is more close to the output, which is Power BI, which is analytics. So it's the other way around. Even though the series says 600, then 700, but from analytics point of view, the life cycle point of view, DP700 comes first, then DP600 will come next. So this is, the order for someone who is starting from scratch, this is what I will suggest. But if you already know Power BI, then it's the other way around. Again, it depends. You can customize it in whichever way you want. Now, let's talk about another scenario. What if you only clear DP600 but not DP700? So let's talk about this scenario. Now, if you clear only DP600, you will be mostly focused on analytics. That means it is more of Power BI centric. And if you miss out on DP700, what will happen is you will not understand pipelines, you will not understand ingestion, you will not understand notebooks. So notebooks, all these things, you will miss out on all these things, right? Majorly, of course, more things are there. So if you clear only this thing, it will not add much value, if you ask me. Again, if you let's talk about the opposite. You cleared only DP700, but you didn't clear DP600. Now here you will cover all these things, pipelines, ingestion, notebooks, and everything, but you will miss out on reporting. So reporting means these are the reports which are directly consumed by the users. So if you don't clear DP600 or if you don't touch this part, what will happen is you will be working only on the back end. This is front end. So the best combination, only working on back end or only working on front end, you will have limited career growth. If you really want a next 5 years career growth, combine both front end and back end, and this will make you full stack data professional. right? So this is the relevance or the story of DP600 and DP700. Now the next question will be, how do you prepare for these exams? Now there are different ways to prepare for the exam. The first,
Sanjay,
yeah,
can you give me half a minute, please?
yeah, sure, sure.
So Sanjay gave a fantastic background on the why, what is Fabric, why we should do a certification. He gave you some idea about the market. I will add a different perspective. Now, let us say that we have two candidates, candidate A and candidate B, right? Candidate A knows Excel, SQL, and Power BI, right? And candidate B has done DP 600, 700, and he's a Fabrics analytics engineer, plus he has done some data engineering as well. Who do you think in today's market? Because all of you must be looking at LinkedIn or Naukri or multiple other portals, regardless of where on the globe you are observing, right? Who do you think will get more salary in today's market? Candidate A or B? Okay, Priyanka says B. How many of you agree that as B will is making more money? Most of the jobs that were for data analysts are going to either Fabrics analytics engineers or they're hiring data engineers that know both, right? That is the reality of the market today, guys. By the way, let me ask this one more question before I again give it over to Sanjay. Is there anybody in the audience today that does not want recognition or money? Please raise your hand if you do not want recognition or money, making more money. Because you are giving your time, whether you're doing freelance or you're working full time or as a contractor, you are basically trading your money, trading your services, which means your hours away from your family life. You are spending hours and you are getting some money for that. Maybe somebody is spending 8 hours, somebody is spending 12 hours, somebody 10 hours. The companies pay you money or the clients pay you money. Is there anybody who wants to make lesser money? Do you want to have less recognition or more? Any answer, guys? Okay, thank God. Um, thank God people say, because if I would have heard less money, I'd be wanting to meet that person who wants to make lesser. So everybody's agreed for more recognition, more money, more value for time.
Yeah,
All those things are needed, right? And of course, we have different ways to keep the balance between work and family life, or we integrate work and family life with certain ways. So guys, if you want to do this, that itself is a very huge reason that if you do not upgrade your skills now, when you have the time, October, November, December is the perfect time to do that. Then you will lose out a lot. The market will not be paying basic Excel, SQL, Power BI candidates the same amount of money that they'll give to people having DP 600, 700, and some portfolio, some projects, all of those things you just talked about.
yeah.
So back to Sanjay.
Yes. Now coming to the very next important question is, okay, now we clear, I mean, now we talked enough about DP600 and DP700. I think I covered different aspects and also a different, you can say different complexities involved in both of them. Now the next question is how to claim vouchers. I'll talk about it little later. The next topic which I want to discuss is related to the roadmap. Like many people are like, okay, should I learn Azure? Should I learn Fabric? Or if I'm learning Fabric, where should I start? What is a good starting point? And what should be the approach? If I want to learn for free, how do I learn it? If I want to go for a Udemy course, how to do it? If I want to go for a paid program, how to do it, etc., etc. Those are the next things which I'll try to address. So when you talk about free resources, okay, so let's start with free resources. Now for DP600 and DP700 both, in the Microsoft official page itself, you will have some learning paths. Okay. So learning paths are available. So if you just open that page and if you scroll down a little below, there you will find the learning paths. So it's learn.microsoft.com. You'll see the URL as well once you click that, and those learning paths you can do. Now this is about free. I mean, this is the official, right? So official. And second one is, of course, YouTube. But these days I'm not recommending YouTube because these days on YouTube you have more ads than the actual content. So I stopped recommending YouTube from the last 1 year. If you have premium, that's fine. Otherwise, too much of distraction, I would say. So YouTube, that's why I'm not specifically recommending. Now let's talk about Udemy. Now in Udemy, I have seen like there are good courses for a lot of platforms, but for Fabric, to be honest, I haven't seen much buzz. I mean, much courses I haven't seen. There are one or two courses, but again, how often they are updated, like whether the quality is good or bad, I cannot comment because I haven't done it by myself. So I have no idea about Udemy. Coursera, nothing is there as far as I know. Some few, one or two things I saw, but again, nothing full-fledged I have seen. And if you want to learn about where the updates are coming for Fabric, like latest things, what are happening, Microsoft blog is very good source to understand what is happening in Fabric, like the community updates, like uh, you can say like updates from month on month, the releases, conferences, all these things, all the updates you'll get it from Microsoft blog, right? This is what I will recommend if you want to get updated on Fabric latest things, what's happening. Okay, now coming to the approach. So where to start? So a very good starting point for Fabric is either you can start with SQL or Python, but again, very basics. You don't have to you don't have to be a programmer, right? The reason why I'm telling basics very specifically because generally I'll tell you what I observe from people. Okay, the minute someone says you need to know SQL basics or Python basics, people will start somewhere, some X amount of point they'll start, and then they'll get stuck there for months and months and months. So even after 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, they'll get stuck in this point. So that is not, see, your aim is not to become a programmer. Your aim is to become a data engineer or data analyst. So when someone says basics, if you look at the code, at least you should know what that is at that level. And with AI coming in, Copilot coming in, with all these latest technologies coming in, the focus will be less on the code, more on the logic. Can you understand? So when I say SQL basics, like select statement from where, like having group by, all these things, right? So all these things you have to, so have so sorry, so here you can say having group by, order by. If you know these 6 statements where they are used in SQL, that's good enough start, if you ask me. Now in Python, you don't have to know the programming side. Now in Python, I want to make a very big distinction here. Now with Python, Python is such a vast language that with Python you can do web development. With Python you can do automation. With Python you can also do data science. With Python you can do data engineering. With Python you can develop apps. You can use it for development, right? For apps and other things. So there are different applications of Python, and Python has so many libraries. Like for example, you have specific Python libraries for finance. You have specific Python libraries for web development, for automation, like Selenium driver we use generally, right? So there are so many things. It's very vast. It's like if someone says I want to learn Python, it's like someone saying that I want to learn maths. It's too broad of a word. So in Python, you only need to learn what is required for DE. Even if you go outside in the market, even if you catch hold of a data scientist or maybe someone who is into web development, if you ask that web development guy to talk about data engineering libraries, they'll not be able to talk. The language itself, library itself are so vast that no one will be master of anything. Even if someone is working as a data scientist, they'll be more closely working on the data science related libraries. They may or may not be knowing PySpark. So when I say Python basics, we are only talking about data engineering related libraries, not general programming. Now When we talk about data engineering specific Python, what are we talking about? We are talking about PySpark. So basically what PySpark is, Spark API will be there, right? So that API you will keep calling, like there are like different commands and all. So that integration happened. So that is what PySpark is at a very, very high level. I didn't say it accurately, but just for you to understand, very, very simplified, oversimplified explanation this is. So you need to know PySpark. Now in PySpark, what do you need to know? If you know how to use SQL, very basic statements, PySpark is mostly used for ETL. ETL means removing the duplicates, removing the columns, adding columns, like custom columns, basically transposing, like simple commands. If you know ETL, if you worked on Power Query in Power BI, that is good enough for you to know PySpark. It shouldn't take much of a challenge. The number one mistake what people do when it comes to PySpark or when it comes to PySpark especially is they'll focus too much time on syntax. That means, so in other words, they'll keep on focusing on by hearting things. If you try to by heart, you'll never be able to learn PySpark. Just to learn PySpark, it will take you at least 1-2 years of time. What you have to focus here is the logic and most frequently used syntax. Now when I say this, a lot of people disagree with me. People say no, you should know the basics, you should know the fundamentals. How can you skip, how can you talk only about data engineering related one? Okay, here I will tell a logic, and I'm sure all of you will agree with that logic. Okay, how many of you can speak English? All of you, right? Otherwise you won't be understanding what I'm speaking so far, right? Okay. So can someone tell me how many words are there in English dictionary? You can Google and tell me how many words are there in English dictionary. Yes. How many words are there in English? Approximate. I am not looking at exact number, obviously. Yes. How many words are there in English dictionary? So let me take a wild guess. It will be more than 5 lakh. More than 5 lakh words will be there. Okay, fine. 6 lakhs. Is it 6 lakhs? No, 60 lakhs you're saying? I don't think that's too high. I don't think it's 60 lakhs. Maybe it's 6 lakhs. 5 lakhs or okay, 5 to 6. Let's put somewhere. 5 to 6. Now, how many words do we use in day-to-day life? How many of the words do we know out of 5 or 6 lakh words in English? I mean, just do a guesstimate. Just do a guesstimate. So there are 5 lakhs or 6 lakh words in English, right?
I used to know the number, I forgot it, but I would say even a decent fluent speaker, on an average, it's between 200 to 500 words that they will know.
Yeah. So in our day-to-day life, okay, in our day-to-day life, the maximum which anybody, even the native speakers means someone who grew up with English as their first language. I don't think they'll be able to use more than maybe 2000 words. I'm just doing just a guesstimate, not more than this, even for a native speaker. And for a non-native speaker, it will be much less. Probably it will be maybe 1000 words, not more than this. Now, if you calculate, if you do a percentage, right? So, okay, let's assume, okay, so some of you may say, no, Sanjay, this is very less. Okay, let's multiply the both numbers with 10. Okay, let's take 20K and even 10K for that matter. You still take a percentage by 5 lakhs. How much? It will be very small percentage, right? It will be what? Less than 5, I mean, less than 5 percentage. We know only less than 5% of English, but if someone asks us, do you know English? We say yes. To know English, you don't have to know 5 lakh or 6 lakh words which are in the dictionary. Okay, now I'll give you another example. You have Excel, right? How many formulas does Excel? Let's take 50 formulas. Again, if you do a percentage, it will not be much. It will be less than 20%, not more than that. So the point being, if you do this calculation across, whether it's Python, Excel, English, or anything, we only have to focus on the day-to-day what we use for daily basis. There can be 100. So in Excel, there can be 400 formulas. But for you to get a job, you don't need to learn 400 formulas. You just need to know the 20, 30 most commonly used formulas. Maybe what is VLOOKUP, what is XLOOKUP, what is, you can say, sum, average, very commonly used formula. That's it. Similarly, even for English also, if you know how to speak in such a way that if other person understands, that's good enough English. No one will come and say, okay, you are using present continuous tense, future continuous tense is wrong. No one will talk in that language, right? We'll just speak as per our flow. Yes, there will be grammatical mistakes for sure, but in reality we don't go that deep. We'll not go into grammar rules and all. We just learn 10 maybe 10,000 or sorry 1,000 or 2,000 words, and then we speak. This is the same mistake what people make when they learn Python or PySpark. What people do typically when it comes to Python or PySpark is also same. They'll just try to become expert in Python, which will never happen in the lifetime. What you have to focus is just focus on that 5% of the Python, which is 100% relevant for data engineering. Even 5% is a big number if you ask me. You just need to know that maybe 2% of Python relevant to data engineering, which you will use day-to-day life. Even if you go for interviews, there'll be some very popular questions they'll ask hands-on. They'll not go deep into, like, they'll not ask some complicated use case or something like that. Okay, they'll ask, okay, can you write a window function? Okay, can you filter the rows? Can you add a conditional column? That's it. Few use, like there will be 20 to 30 popular use cases. If you can master those 20 to 30 day-to-day use cases, that's enough. And I'll tell you one more thing as well. In the interview itself, you can openly say that, please don't focus on the syntax. I cannot write it perfectly, but I'll give you the logic. That is 100% acceptable in most of the interviews. As long as your logic is correct, syntax going here and there wrong, some format, some comma here and there going wrong, it's totally fine. So this is the approach you need to follow, whether it's SQL or Python or PySpark or whatever. But if you start with the thought process that, okay, I'll by heart everything, I want to become a master in Python, I want to do this, trust me, you will get into a trap. Even after 1 year, if we meet, if I ask you, what are you doing? You'll say, yeah, I'm upskilling in Fabric, I'm trying to learn Python. So when someone says, you just need to start with the basics of Python, when someone uses the word basics, what people mean is, you just need to know how to write simple statements, how to declare a variable, how to for example, filter a column. That's it. Very simple, very basic, something which you can learn in less than 1 or 2 hours, or maybe maximum 5 hours. That basics are enough to get you started. And over a period of time, with your experience, you will improve, right? Again, go back to the examples which I gave before, whether it's English or Excel. You first start with a very tiny portion. Then over a period of time, with your work experience, with your exposure, over a period of time, you will improve. But if you start your journey by thinking that, okay, I'll master SQL and I'll master PySpark, then even after 3-4 years, if I come back and ask you, you'll still be working only on those things. So this is about the roadmap, like the approach. You start with these basics, then you can go with pipelines first. So pipelines, how will you build it? You will use data factory. So after you learn pipelines, then probably you have to learn about lakehouse. Lakehouse, basically you'll dump the data in lakehouse. So you can learn about lakehouse simultaneously. After this is done, probably you can learn about notebooks. So after you learn about notebooks, lakehouse or warehouse, whatever. So after you learn about notebooks, then probably you'll focus on reporting. These will be the major components. Yes, there are so many other concepts which you can learn, but first you learn these basic concepts, then go deep into other concepts. This is a very good enough starting point to get your journey started with Fabric, right? And now when it comes to approach, okay, this is about topics. Now talking about approach. Now there are different ways to learn any topic, right? So the worst way to learn any programming language or any tech is by using the methods which we used in our schools. Now in schools, what we used to do, we buy hard things. There'll be exams. They'll ask us to buy hard things. They will prepare us for some question bank will be there. You'll star mark those questions, and then you'll buy heart everything, and you'll go and write the exam and come back. So that's probably the worst way to learn any kind of technology. If you really want to learn technology and become better at it, the realistic way to learn technology is first you find a project or a case study. Then have Google with you, then concepts, then your Fabric environment. First, you start with your concepts. First, you need to know basics. Then you will go through the case study or project, whatever you have in front of you. Then, since you know concepts and since you walk through the context, then you'll start with Fabric. Then you'll start building. And when you get stuck, you will take help of Google, because in real time, you'll always have some Google help or senior help or something. It's a teamwork, right? Either you'll approach a senior or you'll go with Google. Why I'm not recommending LLMs? Because if you directly depend on LLMs, what will happen is it will just stop your thought process. Your thought process will be hijacked. Now, a very good example I want to give you is, let's say when you're learning maths, right? When you're learning maths, first, they'll not allow you to use calculators, right? So in school, we don't use calculators. Only when we come to college, calculators will be allowed, right? The same approach here also. LLMs will come once this part is very clear. Once you are able to confidently execute 4 or 5 projects, then you start taking help of LLMs to improve, to speed up your process. But if you start with LLMs like Gemini or ChatGPT or everything and directly start, it will be a disaster. You will not understand anything. You will be blindly copy pasting the codes. You don't know what is happening. And finally, when someone tries to ask you, okay, can you please explain me your code? You will not be able to do it. It becomes a habit. So just follow this example about maths. First we learn, and another example what I want to give related to this is, first we learn 10 tables, right? 1 to 10. Then if we want to do 2-digit multiplication or 3-digit multiplication, we might have done it in our school by hand. Once we are thorough with this, then we will go and use calculator. But if you start using calculator from day one, what will happen? Your logical thinking will completely go down. And there are recent studies which say that if you rely too much on LLMs, they have scanned the brains of people, and they are saying that it will degrade your thought process, like logical thinking. The connections will disappear. So LLMs are good at certain stage, but not at the beginning itself. So this is my viewpoint on Fabric. Yeah.
To testify to what you said, Sanjay, I would like to take the example of Nilay. So last year sometime, or maybe a little before that, I had a conversation with Nilay, who's our Kolkata lead and who's also our senior leadership member.
Yeah.
I asked him, hey Sanjay, how he gave a interview for a particular MNC. I'm not going to name any companies here. He took an interview with the company and he said, I asked him, how did the interview go? What questions did they ask, or did you feel comfortable? And his answer was the same as what you told, Sanjay. He said, I went to the the hiring manager, and I told him that I'm not a syntax guy, so I might make mistakes here and there in syntax. But if you ask me questions on problem solving, logic, I'll be able to clearly explain. And he very confidently explained his approach to problem solving, logic, and um, he was very successful. Nilay, you are here.
Yes, I'm here.
So, can you can you can you share whatever I just said sounds correct, or did you want to add a sentence or two here?
Yeah, it was correct because
Okay,
that hiring manager actually asked me one time intelligence functions uh, syntax.
yeah,
So
and
I told the
also
same that yeah,
also from the perspective of, let's say, DP600, you are one of the people who cleared it very fast, same as Prachi, same as many other people. But since Prachi is not here and you're here, so at one point of time in your life, maybe a couple years back, let's say, you had become um, very good at daily practice of SQL, Excel, Power BI stuff, and you know most of the things inside out. So then, when you were preparing for the test, Sanjay just talked just 2 minutes back. Sanjay talked about his thinking how to manage, how to translate your SQL into other stuff. So, did you follow the similar process, or did you just cram everything, like, look at the manual, cram everything, learn all the 200 or 200 functions? Did you do like that, or did you follow the approach of, let me learn one concept, let me understand the concept first, let me practice the concept? Or that is the approach you followed?
yeah. First I learned SQL and I used to practice every day.
Right.
But I want to make one thing clear here. What you practice in the lead code or hacker rank, that will
Mhm.
not applicable in the real life scenario because in my previous company,
Mhm.
I used to manage Amazon Redshift data warehouse where I wrote almost thousands of codes and 180 lines of codes, but those are not like solving problems, right? But I was not strong in Python, but I know the basics. But when I was learning, it helped me. But I focus too much on practicing SQL, like solving different question, but it is not exactly practicing. It will
Yeah.
strong your concept, but you have to do projects to solve real
Right.
world problems. That
Right.
will be
So,
valued more
yeah,
in the interview.
in other words, I'm speaking to the audience and telling them that the approach that Sanjay is describing is a very simple approach, very practical approach, and something that will work for most people. Um, the cramming or trying to learn everything under the sun is not a good approach, in my opinion. The way Sanjay described it is one of the best ways to learn anything new. Back to Sanjay.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the most important thing is to not to learn from a chat GPT. That is actually a very important thing. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, just to add to what Neela said, I mean, yes, you can use Gemini, Chat GPT, Claude, anything you want, but not at the beginning stage. Once you gain some good foundation, once you reach certain level of expertise, then you can start using that to accelerate your productivity. But in the learning stage itself, if you do it, that will short circuit your thinking process. Yeah. So I think so we are like almost like 1 hour done, I think. So uh
So Sanjay, where I want to go next is, so we have learned about 600, 700, that the approach.
mm,
Can you very quickly point out uh, how much how much how many typical questions are there in these exams, and how many hours typically these exams are, just to give people an idea, because I know we are going to discuss a lot of these questions and stuff while we do the workshop, but I just want to get a general idea.
Yes, so in the DP600 and DP700, so you'll have some different formats of questions. One is MCQ, second is placing the steps in the order. Then you'll also have a case study and the related questions to that case study. It's like that. So overall, you'll be having around close to around 40 to 50 questions, if I'm not wrong. I haven't counted it, to be honest. So it's
Right.
around that ballpark figure, you can say. Now, when you talk about the overall difficulty level, if you ask DP600 or DP700, they are of medium difficulty, I would say. Not extremely hard, at the same time, not too easy. So you need to have balanced approach, and the more hands-on you will have, the more conceptual understanding you have, more easy. It's a mix of both you need to have, like good hands-on as well as good theory knowledge. I think the most challenging part about learning Fabric is to understand the terminology. So generally, when you learn any new technology, the toughest part is not to get confused with concepts. Like for example, I see a lot of people getting confused between data lake versus lakehouse, data lake versus delta lake. Similarly, lake house versus warehouse. You will have a lot of concepts or the words which sound very similar to each other. So you should not get confused. Like I have seen many people who think that data lake and delta lake are same, and I have seen people who think that data warehouse and delta lake both are same. So that familiarity with terminology and understanding the difference between different concepts is very clear, should be very clearly understood. Like when I say this may sound very obvious, but many times
Right.
what happens is you study the concepts, you are clear with the concepts, but you may get confused with the terminology. So you clearly understand what is data warehouse and data lakehouse, but the minute when you're writing in the exam, or probably when you're being tested, probably asked in the interview, you may switch the answers. The answer is correct, but the concept it was tied to might be wrong. So that confusion will be little there. It will be that discomfort you'll always feel little bit. But once you practice more, do hands-on, build your product portfolio, so with time that will reduce. And the
Right.
second thing which I want to talk about, another thing which I want to talk about when it comes to these exams is you will have plenty of time. With time, I never had any kind of challenge in the exam duration I'm talking about. So the exam is of like see, irrespective of exam duration, both exams I cleared within 40-45 minutes, right?
Exactly. Many, and this is the feedback which I'm receiving from multiple people. I think I've received the same from Nilay, same from Prachi. I took it myself. 40 to 45 minutes. We had plenty of time. I think I almost
Hmm.
had double the time of what we needed, and
Yes,
we are not great scholars.
correct, correct.
Especially me at my age. Um, Sanjay, can you very quickly talk about how to get vouchers for the exam for those people who don't get it through their companies,
Yeah, yeah.
how to get voucher, and then we'll move on to our actual program. So on behalf of COE, you can explain the Club Vista, and we'll allow people to ask us questions on the program workshop itself and the syllabus, etc.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, here when you talk about vouchers, there is something called Vienna conference, Fab Vienna, something is there. So there, if you fill the form and if you do some learning path, I think you will get 50% off. 100% off I haven't seen so far. It is currently limited to only like for few employees and all. And there is also one link shared in COE group. Some people told me that that is working. That link, if you refer, they are having so many free vouchers there. So again, it's
Yes.
a limited, it's FIFO, first come first serve, like first in first out kind of concept. So you have to be quick whenever there is any voucher discount or anything. We are sharing everything in COE group, so make sure to take full advantage of that. I think Arun has shared and even sent the reminders as well. I don't know how many of you took advantage of it, but if you want to take the exam by paying full fees, it comes to around 5,800 including GST. And if you get 50% off also, still that is close to 3,000. So either you have to spend 3,000, which is half of the original exam fees, or if you want to take it for free, you have to wait for the vouchers. But personally, if you ask me, it is like if you get 50%, please go ahead, book the slot, clear the exam. Why I'm telling this? Because these vouchers you will never know. Maybe today you will get a 50% voucher, you will register. Maybe tomorrow you will get a 100% waive of voucher. Or sometimes you'll keep on waiting for months, like weeks and weeks, and nothing will come. So that no one can predict. So my suggestion will be, first you schedule the exam for a particular day. Whether you prepared, you're not prepared, since you're spending your own money, that will bring seriousness in you. Sometimes when you get something for free, you may take it little light, but if you pay, let's say, at least 50% of the certification value, that will give you some seriousness, and then you'll be forced to study. So
And
let's say,
when we look at the return on investment, people are getting 50% hikes, 80% hikes, 100% hikes. If you look at that compared to what you are investing, it's nothing, right?
exactly. So let's say if you get, let's say if you get a job which pays you, let's say, 1 lakh rupees a month, or maybe 1.5 lakh rupees a month, or 50,000 rupees a month, any job for that matter. This is a general thing. I'm not talking about fabric in general. It applies to everything. Even if you get, let's say, bare minimum, if you get 50,000 rupees salary per month as well, 3,000 rupees is nothing. It's like 1 month, not even 1 year we are talking about. So your ROI will not be a big challenge at all. But the most important thing is not to waste time, not to waste your focus. So once, what I generally do is, I'll first schedule my exams so that I'll be forced to study. Like DP 600, DP 700, I have been thinking about clearing them for the last 6 months. But finally, I decided that, okay, this is not going to happen. I forcefully scheduled one exam after the other. 1 week, I scheduled DP 600, I scheduled DP 700. And since I spent my own money for that, initially it was like very, I got discount. Obviously, I got discount for MCT, for Microsoft Certified Trainer. You get 75% discount. So I paid only 1,500 rupees for each. So 3,000, both certificates I booked. But because I spent my money, I had that seriousness, and I was forced to study, and I cleared both of them.
Hmm.
If I had not scheduled it, even after 6 months, I will never clear them, because until there is a need or a specific requirement, why will I clear? There is no motivation, right, to clear.
Correct. So thank you, Sanjay, for talking a little bit about the voucher, and
Okay,
some of
one second.
the
Sorry.
people are asking for
One second.
links, and
Okay,
we
one
will.
second. I forgot to tell this. Sorry to interrupt you. With regard to Python, Ashok has recently launched a free course for everyone. So go to CloudLogs, create an account, and go through that Python course, including coding exercises. If you personally ask me, in that course, even if you do 20% or 30%, that is good enough to start on Fabric. You don't need to do entire course. But still, it's a comprehensive course which Ashok has done, which is more than enough for you to get started with data engineering. And there is also a separate group which is created for that. If you want to join that group. So you just have to create a free account in CloudLogs, and you can go through the entire course. So that is an update on Python. With regard to SQL, for those of you, again, SQL, you should know basics. You don't have to become expert, like I mentioned. But those of you who have done Vishal's course before, I think for you, it won't be, you're already ready with SQL, right? And for those of you who do not know SQL, what I will suggest is, those who are joining the premium group, or those who are in free group, wherever you are, just learn the big six statements. We call it big six statements in SQL. So those six statements which I wrote, which I scribbled just now, those six statements, just get started with that. Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, Sanjay, for bringing up this very important point, because really Ashok has done a wonderful job, excellent job by making his Python course workshop. They are recordings, and they are absolutely free for anybody across the globe, anybody that wants to join and learn. But again, like Sanjay said, you don't have to go through the entire thing, but it is freely available for you. In addition, we have a group called Freebies, and we keep on sharing a lot of stuff. Now, let's focus our energies on talking about the course or the structured program that the COE has. And then, if you have any questions, you can ask us. I'll tell one thing upfront: the fee for the program. What I'll do is I'll put the bank information and the credit card information. We have this group called MS Fabrics. It's called MS Fabrics COE. Many of you would have joined us today who are a part of that group. But if you have joined us from any other group of COE, across the board. We have 40 plus groups. So if you have joined us from elsewhere, please make sure that you ask Sanjay, ask Nilay, ask myself about the MS Fabrics group. Join that group, and you will. We will. If you join that, we'll quickly give you that information. Um, Sanjay, can you now please show? I think we have covered this in our last seminar, but can we please show them the Cloud Vista, talk about the syllabus and our approach of the COE?
Yes. Just give me one moment. So just a disclaimer before I share my screen. So the instructor of the course will be Surya, not me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. On behalf of the COE, I'm just requesting you to do that. We will learn about many people who joined us late, did not understand how to find information, what
So
will be
yeah.
covered, what will be the duration, etc.
So this is Cloud Vista 360. So MS Fabric, this is the like 40 hours, and this is the brochure. If you didn't have the brochure in WhatsApp, it's already shared. You can go through this information, and it contains everything like overall overview. Like it's a 8-week boot camp, and there are like different case studies, concepts, different sessions which will be there, and this will be the overall structure, like 8 weeks. And then you also have the COE related profile optimization, guidance on DP600, DP700, portfolio review, etc. And these are like different roles which are relevant for this program, COE program. And to talk about the timings, it will be 4 days a week, Monday and Wednesday, and Tuesday and Thursday at 7 a.m. in the morning IST. And yeah, so this is about it regarding like the cost and other things. You can open the
Yeah.
brochure and see it for yourself. So this is just a
So,
glimpse.
so guys, every day it will not be more than 1 hour, because many people approached us and said, like, please do it, because we want to enjoy our weekends. Can you please, or we are doing something else, we are, family stuff or something else is going on in their lives. So can you do it during the weekdays? Now, in our case, the constraint that we had was we can do it in the morning itself, uh, because our instructor was free in the mornings. So we said, let's do morning. And so, so if you do it in the morning, 1 hour, you understand the concept, you practice it. And if you're going to a college, you go to your college. If you're working, go to your office. So this worked out very well uh, for us in the past. If you look at all of Vishal's batches, they are running at a time where everybody is allowed to go to the office. So majority of the people wanted it this time. So we kept a fixed time this time. Maybe in a future batch, we may keep some other time. But for now, we have this time. It's not more than 1 hour per day, 4 days a week.
Yeah, I mean, yes, if you average it out, it's 1 hour. So it's like another important thing. Like I already mentioned this in the beginning of the session. Initially, there was no plan for Fabric at all. But a lot of people started approaching, asking about Fabric. Like this topic could have been started 1 year back itself. But again, no one talked much about it. But recently, I myself, I'm talking about it. Then a lot of people approached, and we got very fantastic response for Fabric community, you can say, as a whole, whether it's webinars or generally for that boot camp, or even the group, whichever you have the free sessions. And Prachi, Neele, they are also like contributing very well, and they are also the SME, like subject matter experts in Fabric. Definitely I am looking for more active participation from rest of the people who joined this webinar. And the more you like, the more you research, more you share content on Fabric, like more you study for yourself, the more better you will become. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that you have to just do it for the sake of doing it. It's for your own good as well. Like, let's say if you just study privately, what will happen is you will just do something bare minimum and then you'll stop. But imagine if you want to post a very nice LinkedIn article, or let's say if you want to share it in the group, because it will be read by the larger audience, the public, you'll be 10 times more careful. You'll try to research on the topic deeply. Then only you'll have enough courage to go and post it publicly. But if you don't do that, what will happen is, if you just stay silent in the group, what will happen is your learning or your seriousness will be very limited. So if you start, like, probably you can start with a target, like, okay, every week I'll write one article on LinkedIn, or every week I'll post something in the Fabric group. So it's a platform, right? So, or anyway, any platform for that matter, not just our COE, anywhere outside as well. But you need to have some kind of number, right? Weekly or monthly target, something you need to have. If you don't have that accountability, then it's very, very difficult to learn in this fast paced environment. Let's say even if you post some sort of mistake in the Fabric group, someone will be there to correct it, right? Instead of going into the public platforms directly, first you can build some courage within the group. So take guidance of the team members who are there, and slowly you can start posting more and more things out in the public at later point of time. So this is my
Correct.
when I
And
started like that.
in addition to that, I think our leads are posting questions both in the generic group and in the premium group. We'll have very specialized questions focused on the exams. They'll be on the pattern of the exam. So by the time you finish this 8 weeks, you'd realize that you're 90% already prepared, and you will have quizzes and case studies and hand holding and mentoring. So those all those things will really greatly help you guys. Sanjay,
Yes.
I think. Go
And
ahead. You were
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
describe some experience. Yeah.
Yeah, so from time to time, people keep asking, "Arey, how did you get 70,000 followers? How Muskan got 1 lakh followers, etc." So to get good following on LinkedIn or even on any social media platform for that matter, your consistency is very important. You have to keep on studying, researching, posting. So even to post something, see, when will you get more followers on LinkedIn? When you post on LinkedIn. When can you post on LinkedIn? When you have some subject. When will you have subject? When you study. So if you keep a target saying that, okay, every week I'll post one Fabric article on LinkedIn, then you will be forced to study that topic, do a proper research, and then upload that on your LinkedIn profile. But if I mean, that's how anyone will start their journey without having any subject. If you say, okay, I want X number of followers, it's not possible. Whether it's YouTube or LinkedIn or any other platform, first you need to pick a subject to talk about. So since we are talking about Fabric here, Fabric is a very good starting point. So there are very few people talking about Fabric right now in the internet as well. So this is actually the best time to start your LinkedIn Fabric journey as well, not just your Fabric learning. So even your social media presence, if you want to increase, this is the best time to start it. If you start Fabric, I mean, let's say after 3 years down the line, if you talk about Fabric, there is nothing special at that point of time. So that is what I want to talk about as well. I mean, look at your career in a broader perspective. What will you do 3 years or 5 years from now? So that journey will get started now. I mean, today with this small community, then you will go to LinkedIn, then consistently you'll start posting. But if you just think that, okay, I'll just do a course, then I'll get a job, you'll always be stuck in that mode. Like you will never be able to build your network. If you want to build your network, you have to become a subject matter expert.
Yeah. So, for those of you who are interested, the pricing section is mentioned in the brochure itself, and you can ask us in the group. I will be answering most of the questions on behalf of COE and the instructor. Um, if you have any other questions that are burning in the burning questions in your mind, you can ask us right away, and I'll be answering most of the questions.
Yeah.
So we are starting, guys, on the 13th. We have Saturday, Sunday where you can enroll, like today and tomorrow. Finish the enrollment. To do the enrollment, you have to give us your email ID, so with which we can create your trial accounts so that we are set. So on the day one, we'll have a orientation and we'll catch up on all basic kind of questions. Then we'll get started.
Okay, there is one question in the chat box related to Fabric versus data. It's actually a very good question you asked. So generally, if I have to see, always, answer depends. I don't want to give a diplomatic answer. I'll tell straight to the point. Whenever a question comes, whether to learn Fabric or to learn Databricks, I give a very standard answer. The answer is this.
Both.
No. Yeah, that is best. I mean, if you learn both, that is best. But a standard answer, if you have to pick only one without being diplomatic, the straight answer which I give you is, if you are in Microsoft ecosystem, that means if you use Excel, Power BI, things related to Microsoft on your daily basis, blindly go with Fabric. if you are working on AWS, Google Cloud, all these other platforms, then learning Fabric doesn't make any sense because you have to jump from AWS to Azure and Fabric and all these ecosystems. So it doesn't make any sense. So if you are into Microsoft ecosystem, already using any Microsoft product like Power Query, Excel, T-SQL, Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, if you are already using any of this, Fabric is the best first choice. But if you are from outside platform, you never touch Microsoft ecosystem, then go with Databricks first. Now that being said, like Arun mentioned, if you learn both, it is very good. But again, the question is it worth putting that much of effort? Now the good news is, if you know Fabric, already you know 80% of the Databricks. If you know Databricks, already you know 80% of Fabric. The skills are transferable.
Very true.
In both.
That's an excellent point, Sanjay. But in general, for somebody who does not know either of them, then I would say that Fabric being a SaaS platform,
Yeah,
it
it's
is
more friendly.
the learning curve is much less than learning Databricks. That's a fact.
Absolutely. So Databricks is more of a PaaS, platform as service, and Fabric is more towards SaaS. So for
Again, one has to remember that Microsoft, see, Databricks is not a public company yet. It has not IPO'd. It has done very well. The growth numbers are very good. Databricks valuation is in the Series K funding, its valuation is about $100 billion. But because somebody is growing very fast, we should not forget that Microsoft has also grown equally fast, and Microsoft is already a $3.6 trillion company. So we are comparing a $1 billion company, which is doing very well, to a $3.6 trillion company, which is a major giant who has agreements with, pretty much every country. They have agreements with enterprises.
yes, and like if someone comes to me and says, Sanjay, I know AWS. Should I learn Fabric or Databricks? Closing my eyes, I'll tell Databricks. But if someone says, hey, I'm already using Microsoft ecosystem, again, just by closing my eyes, I'll tell Fabric. And even for beginners, if someone asks me, I'll go with Fabric, like Arun said, because Fabric is little more easier to learn because lot of manual things which you do on Databricks, you don't have to even worry about it in Fabric. So that's very good advantage, especially for people coming from non-IT or non-coding background, because for them, managing Fabric will be much easier than managing Databricks. But like I mentioned, 80% of your skills are transferable between both.
And one major thing that Ashok talks about is that when we talk about Databricks, it can work with different platforms, different cloud systems, right? Azure, ROS, GCP, it works with everything. Microsoft works very well with its own stuff. So Databricks is basically independent of anything Microsoft. If a company has already invested in Microsoft technologies, I think almost all the companies have invested in one or the other Microsoft technology. So
Okay, here,
they would prefer Fabric first.
yes, and here I will give a very, very relatable example here. Now imagine you're using iPhone, iPad, Mac. If someone comes and asks, okay, which smartwatch should I buy? Automatically you'll say, okay, buy Apple Watch. Why? Because already you're using all Apple products. But let's say if you are using Android, let's say Android phone, Windows laptop, Android tablet, and let's say if someone comes and asks, so which smartwatch should I buy? Automatically you'll say, okay, Samsung Watch or Pixel Watch or OnePlus, whatever that is. Again, if you compare both the watches individually, you might always come up with a comparison saying that, oh, no, Apple Watch is better or Samsung Watch is better. But okay, let's imagine a situation where you are using all Apple products and you want to decide to buy watch. Now, definitely someone can recommend Android watch because it comes at low cost, more features, etc. But because you are in Apple ecosystem, even though Android watch might be superior in some aspects, still people will recommend Apple Watch. Why? Because that integration will be always good. Now, in the same way, if you compare individually, okay, only Databricks and only Fabric notebooks, only that part which is common between both, like Lakehouse and these things. Maybe you can always argue, okay, Databricks is better in this compared to Fabric, or Fabric is better in this compared to Databricks. But the minute you talk about ecosystem, automatically you have to look at whole thing as one piece. You cannot take part by part and do a comparison. So in that aspect, Fabric will come out because of the seamless integration which is there. Now, someone can come and technically argue, hey, why can't I use AWS and then integrate it to Power BI? Yes, you can do it. I mean, a lot of companies also have that kind of integration. I mean, they are using it, but more companies prefer Power BI to work along with Fabric or Azure. It's
I
not.
think I
I
think
mean, there
Sanjay,
is no rule which says that okay, you cannot use Power BI along with AWS combination. There is no rule. Technically possible, but
uh,
if you want seamless
Sanjay,
integration,
you said one very good thing, Sanjay, that people who know Databricks by default they know 80% Fabric. People who
correct.
know Fabric also know
80%
80%
Databricks.
Databricks.
Correct.
That was the best statement you gave from a very practical standpoint.
And I think even a more relatable example for this is, imagine your company uses Google Workspace like Gmail, Google related platforms like Google Sheets and everything. Then it doesn't make sense much for you to fight between, okay, should I learn Google Sheets or Excel? Automatically you learn Google Sheets. But let's say your company is using Microsoft related thing, then you will learn Excel. But you cannot say that, okay, I learned only Google Sheets, I cannot use Excel. Anyone who learns Google Sheets and become experts in Google Sheet, they'll become automatically an expert in Excel. Someone who is expert in Excel will also become an expert in Google Sheets. It's easy to catch up.
Good
Now,
example. Good example.
now you cannot say that, okay, Google Sheets is different, Excel is different. Yes, they are different platforms, two different providers, but skills are transferable. Lot of formulas in Excel are also there in Google Sheets. Google Sheet formulas are also there in Excel. Here also the same thing applies.
Okay. Any other question, guys? Keep on shooting question, guys. Those who want to make money, please shoot questions. Otherwise, my perception will be none of you want to make money and recognition.
Sir, we are in the background of Snowflake data engineering. So, how the fabrics we are using Azure Synapse for data loading, and so how this brick will work for him.
If you are using Snowflake, you're saying I got cut in between.
Yeah, Snowflake. We are using the database data warehouses Snowflake and data Azure Synapse. We are using for data pipelines. So, how these fabrics will useful?
If you ask me, many organizations are using both kind of products, right? Because they serve a variety of clientele, and some people will ask, depending upon the project type, they can combine things. Or but if you ask me for the rankings, I would rank Databricks and Fabric as high. Snowflake is not even close to that. I mean, they are also a billion-dollar company, a multiple billion-dollars company, but they are very much behind Databricks and they're very behind Fabrics. That's a current truth. So Snowflake is used for in a very broad brush paint. I'll say Snowflake is used where more for analytics purposes, more in the warehousing area where you don't have very heavy needs. I will just call it heavier workload and lighter workload. So for lighter workloads, you can go with Snowflake. For heavier workloads, either you will have to go with MS Fabric or Databricks. So it's good to know. I mean, if you know one thing, it's good to know because if your company is using both, it is good to know both, right? Start somewhere, and then either your company teaches you or you do a structured learning program like the one we have.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
See, with Snowflake, the other thing you may have realized if you've done Snowflake, uh, Snowflake alone cannot do anything. Why? Because you need to know DBT. Are you getting, if you have looked at Naukri or LinkedIn, are you getting any jobs in Snowflake without DBT? Yes or no?
Compulsory, mandatory. DBT is mandatory.
Exactly. So you need to know 5 more tools to become equivalent to either Databricks or Fabric. Whereas Fabric, we already stated it has unified everything under one platform. So you don't have to look at 5 different products. You get everything under one umbrella.
Even Fabric
And
is
we
not
and
equivalent to Databricks.
yeah, and we have written articles on Snowflake versus Databricks versus Fabric, and individually we have written. So in our Fabrics group, if you haven't joined us, join us, and we can point out to all the articles we've written. So Databricks, again, when you're looking at AI or ML, Databricks is very powerful. Each of them has its own areas of strength and weaknesses. Um, Fabric, of course, it's newer, and Microsoft is pushing all the money, all the promotion towards it, which is why it is getting a lot of attention. Because if a 3.6 billion dollar company pushes something, obviously it'll gain attention. So as a consultant, the way I should think is, hey, whether they ask for Fabric or Databricks, I'll if I had my way, I'd know a little bit of both, so that whether if a job comes, if I'll be more saleable in the market if I know a little bit of both.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And
if you do one, it is pretty easy to do the other.
yeah, here, like yesterday only, I was discussing with someone as well. Do you want to be a cloud engineer, or do you want to be a data engineer? I mean, you can say, do you want to be a Snowflake data engineer or Azure data engineer or multi-cloud data engineer? That's the choice which I will leave up to you.
Yeah, everybody starts with one thing, and with time, they catch on to, like, for example, Nilay started with, let's say, Databricks, and he said, hey, my company uses more of Microsoft Fabric, so let me quickly switch over to that. And he was able to quickly transition. Same thing for Sanjay, same thing for many other people. They knew one thing, and it was very easy for them to switch over to another thing. Like, if like, you know how to drive a Maruti car, you know how to drive a Baleno, you know how to drive one automatic car, you know how to drive the other automatic car uh, pretty easily. Or like Sanjay gave the example, uh, it's not a perfect example, but it's a good thing to have a basic understanding. If you know Google Sheets, you know Excel. That way, they are called by slightly different names. That's all. But the concepts will remain similar. Any other questions, guys?
Yes, Arun. So, how many projects will you cover in this course, please?
So we will cover mini projects through case studies. So, you know, up to 3 to 4 case studies will at least be there where you are able to do. And if somebody wants to come up with their own thoughts, if they say, hey, I want to combine these three features and make up a project, can you guide me on how to go about doing that? We'll be offering mentoring also. So in the course we'll cover certain things and certain projects, but then the generic batch will be running throughout the year or throughout multiple years. So whenever somebody has a question, that's why we have the group where somebody might come and say, hey, I'm from sales background, I'm from retail background, I'm from supply chain background or XYZ background, and I want to use these three features. So can we develop a case study? We'll be very happy to develop a case study for you, guide you, and so that you can put that as a showcase. So that'll be a challenging thing assignment for all of us, and perhaps we can do it as a buddy system, like 2 or 3 people making a project together, or couple people joining hands and researching how to go about doing that, and there'll be a mentor to guide you.
Okay, so what about that trial period for this fabric? So, is it like a 3 months or 2 months trial period which was given by Microsoft?
um, Sanjay, can you please take that?
Yeah, it will be like a 60 days trial, which will be there. So see, if you have a separate account, that's fine. The for my, as you know, for Fabric, the trial will be 60 days. For generally for the COE related bootcamp, you will get a separate email ID, separate account, something separate. Like again, well, let's say the account expires, you don't have to use yours. Like first you use this one, and then once it expires, then you can use your own thing later.
So which
Yeah,
means you will
60 days.
provide that.
It is 60 days.
Okay, you will provide that, right? If you enroll for course. Right.
Yes, COE will provide. Yes, I think Arun will answer. Yeah, yes.
Yes. On behalf of COE, we have decided that we have our own org ID and domain. So through that, once we have people who are interested to join, will give us their email IDs and details. So
Mhm.
after the payment is received, we will create accounts for each one of them, so that they don't have to worry about a lot of things, and we'll also guide them.
So that means we can practice every day, right? With that email ID, with that
Yeah,
practice.
Yes,
you will get your own. It will not be a
Okay.
shared account.
Okay. Okay. So because
I'll be I'll be so happy if you practice every day. That will make me the happiest person on earth.
yes.
I mean,
So,
any you ask any lead in the COE, you ask any expert, they will all be so happy that somebody is actually utilizing it, practicing it, and not spending time on Instagram reels and Netflix and stuff. I mean, those things are also important in life, very important in life. I mean, you need entertainment, and but if you have the target of like catching the train in January, February, catching that plane of good opportunities while we are in a little bit of slowdown period. Actually, it's like I said, it's not even a slowdown period for data engineering. I mean, look at go to Naukri or LinkedIn and see data engineering opportunities left and right. Everybody is getting 6, 7. One the other day I was talking to Akriti. She said she got 11 calls in one day, and she had to take off her profile from the
Arun,
Naukri
I forgot.
because yeah.
Like, on whatever you said about the getting multiple calls, every day between 9 to 11, when I was searching for my own job hunt, every day
Yeah,
I get a call, every single day. I mean, the funny thing is, like, most of the HRs are females, and there are some HRs which are like same name. Company is also same, but different vendor partners calling. Like everywhere, every HR name is Priyanka, and they call from multiple vendors for
right,
client, for the
right,
same
right.
client. I saved one day. Okay, ArcelorMittal, Priyanka, HR, I wrote. And then another day, say someone, I mean, I did not save the number, it's one time call. Next day again, I got a call. She said, yeah, I'm
So
Priyanka, HR,
I had
client is
I
ArcelorMittal.
yeah
Then
I
I
had
said,
thought that
yesterday we spoke.
initially some people had said that in September it'll slow down, October there are no signs of slowing down. There are no signs of slowing down. In fact, managers who haven't utilized their budgets, they're hiring more and more people every day.
I mean,
Just today, not only you're talking about India, I'm in US, and here like massive opportunities are there.
so again, here one disclaimer I want to give is, when we say market hasn't slowed down, we are only talking about data engineering. Let's say if you are a .NET developer or a front end or some Java developer,
Correct, very
then
true.
that's a depressing situation. I don't even want to, especially for MERN stack, MER.
Even
Everybody went and learned MERN.
even for the basic data analyst role, they are finding it. I mean, they are getting jobs, but the salaries they are getting is not the same as what they used to get before. And
Correct.
the scrutiny in the face-to-face interviews, there's much more scrutiny in the data analysis market. So the only market that is working very well, excellent, is data engineering market.
I mean, data engineering and AI, of course, both.
AI, yeah.
Yeah.
Data engineering, analytics not in basic Power BI, but they are expecting you to know Fabric by now. And see all the companies, whether it is Databricks, whether it is Microsoft, or even a Snowflake, you can say, everybody is having conferences every 3 months worldwide. Like I think Databricks is coming to Bangalore, or maybe they've come. I think it was 17th or something. So everybody is having conferences worldwide where they are promoting data engineering like crazy. So obviously the market is there, and is the only question is, will you be ready for it? And I make the statement all the time: either you be ready for it, or you'll be reporting to somebody who invested his time properly.
Yes, and in addition to this, like with respect to job opportunities, fresher experience and other things, let's say if you are someone who already have 3 to 5 years of experience, it's the best market, best of best. I haven't seen this kind of market since that COVID boom. After that, this is the kind of boom I am seeing again, probably you can say from the last 3 4 months. So let's say if
Correct.
you are someone with 8 to 12 years of experience bracket, again fantastic market. Even 5 to 8 is also good. I won't say it's I mean, see, if I have to give you the, it's like golden period right now for data engineering. Within that, if I have to rank different experience levels, 3 to 5, the best, I would say, the number one. The number two preference I'll give to 8 to 12 years, then someone with 5 to 8 years, then freshers. Now with freshers also, again,
The,
I want to bifurcate here. So
yeah,
there are freshers who are having portfolios, there are freshers without portfolios. If you are someone who has a very good portfolio like Disha Otanis, which we showed last time, they can get opportunity by having LinkedIn presence. If you do not have LinkedIn presence as a fresher, if you are simply thinking that okay, if I do a course I'll get a job, that's not going to happen. Even if you spend 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs also, you will not get a job off campus. If you want to get a job as a fresher, whatever course you are doing, whether it's a free course or a paid course, every day you have to post on LinkedIn. Every single day for the next 90 days you have to post. Only then you will be able to get a visibility, and then you will be able to get a role. But if you are thinking that as a fresher, just by doing some certification or a course I'll get a job, it will not come. Again, I'm again giving you a
it,
disclaimer as well.
no,
Here,
it really means a lot coming from you, Sanjay, because you are a solutions architect with experience. You also are a lead data engineer. Plus, you have been a judge at several hackathons, marathons, and functions. You have been a speaker. You have been counseling a lot of MBA students. So you have spent considerable time in these activities. And not only that, when you talk about LinkedIn, you are a top voice,
correct.
which means a lot. I mean, you are one of the top 30 people in the industry who has that credential of top voice.
Okay, and yeah, here I want to add a small thing. Like here, there is always the debate which happens. But Sanjay, what is the guarantee that this will happen if I post it on LinkedIn? Or like, okay, like that's fine. Okay, I'll start posting. So will I get likes or reachability? So I'll tell you the technique which I used. Okay, today I have 70,000 followers. I'm a top voice. I have that blue badge on LinkedIn. Like if you look at the number of people having that, at least in India level, probably 3 to 4 data engineers have it, or maybe maximum 5. I'm one among those 5. Whether it's analytics or engineering, okay, if you add everything as well, probably there might be 20 top voices on LinkedIn related to Microsoft ecosystem, where they got the top voice patch among, I mean, across India. And across the world also, if you see, you will not find more than 70 or 80, not more than the people. I'm one among them. Now, yes, I'm not an MVP because I don't want to stick to only one ecosystem. It has its own complexities. But an MCT, I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, and also LinkedIn top voice. One among those 60, 70 people who are in the active in the field of data analytics, engineering, and etc. When I first started my journey, first, I did not depend on my campus placements. Second, I did not depend on any one particular course. I did a lot of my own research. I have done courses and all, but I have done it for knowledge sake. But ultimately, how I landed my job or how I landed my role was every single day I was posting on LinkedIn, or every alternate day, if not every single day. Now, I, like I mentioned just before, to post something on LinkedIn, you need to have some subject with you, right? You cannot post some random things and then get an engagement on LinkedIn. People in LinkedIn are not dumb. They are not someone who can just like whatever nonsense you post, right? So when you post something, it should be well thought out, well researched, and that will force you to that will force you to research on the topic. In the initial days, every day I used to post, right? I used to spend 1 full hour every single day to research on the topic before I had to post. Sometimes I would research 2 hours, 3 hours. Now, this is the days before Chat GPT, by the way.
So in our global career services group, we 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 not only do resume LinkedIn optimization. We talk about salary negotiation. We talk about how to connect with people professionally on this. We deal with a variety of topics depending upon what people ask us. If you go to the description section of our Global Career Services, you will see that we talk about 30 different type of items. If you haven't ever been a part of the group, you must join Global Career Services group of the COE, and you will be shocked and surprised on how many things we offer for free to everybody as a part of the community. So, guys, we are a serious community, and we are a very fun community at the same time.
Yeah.
Now that so all that you got to do is think about the structured program that we have starting from 13th, and let's have a couple more questions on that. And if we cannot answer all the questions due to a shortage of time now, we'll be very happy to take all those questions in the group we have, right?
Yes, and just to add one more thing on LinkedIn is, see, so when you talk about that posting every day and all, some days I used to spend 3-4 hours just researching on the topic before I used to post. Over a period of time, that time will become less and less, but still you have to spend some kind of time researching about the topic. Now, writing is one of the habits which I recommend to everyone, because when you write, you will be forced to think clearly, because if your thoughts are not clear, you will not be able to write something. So if you really want to write something with clarity, then you need to first have clarity of thought. Then only you'll be able to write clearly, then only you'll be able to post. Basically what will happen is, if you daily start writing and posting, that will structure your thoughts. Like your thoughts will become more structured, and the concepts, everything, whatever you learned will become more refined. But if you do, like people used to say, right, in school also, the more you write, the more you remember. Like people say, why? Because to write something, you have to recall, you have to structure it. Like let's say you may have 3-4 different thoughts which you want to express in form of a LinkedIn post. But if you really want to express those thoughts, like 3-4 thoughts together, then you have to decide a structure. Okay, first this should come, next this should come. Even if you have ChatGPT or Gemini also, still whatever output it is giving should match with whatever your thought process is. So that's when you'll actually refine your thoughts, refine your skills, and also you will increase your visibility in the LinkedIn at the same time. So that
Correct.
is, I mean, that is where, I mean, the minute you start writing, trust me, if you just do a course versus doing a course plus writing, you will be at least 2 times or 3 times more effective, like 200% or 300%. Your retention rate, your concentration, focus, everything will be multiplied. This I can guarantee you. But if you simply just watch a video just by sitting in front of the computer, just following some instructions blindly, you will be learning, but you will be a passive learner. You have to be an active learner.
So
Active
Sanjay,
learning only comes
on
if
behalf,
you do
yeah,
things.
yeah, Sanjay, on behalf of the COE, as a head of COE, I can say that I don't. I'm going to keep a very small batch. People will not be more than 35 to 40 at max, because I want to have focus on everybody, make sure that everybody learns to theory, a combination of theory and practical, more practicals, so that people feel really confident that they have really learned something. It will not be like, high level, just high level theory and people just cram up some PDFs, and that's not how it's going to happen. It'll be like pretty practical.
Yes,
So, guys, I'm going to say that we have today's time and tomorrow's time. Monday, the class is actually starting. It'll be the first orientation session. So I would like you to, I will give the information of how to enroll in the group, but I would like a quick enrollment happening between Saturday and Sunday, because we deliberately had not opened it up. We said that let us get all the ducks in the row. Now we have lined up everything, and we have more than 25 people who have already asked us to join. So this is your time, guys, Saturday and Sunday, after which we'll close and start off.
yes, and here, one question I want to address, last question probably. This will be the last which we'll be addressing. So when we talk about the one is related to the relevant experience, and something which is related to that is with respect to job. Okay, so there are two approaches, right? I think there is a saying also. So one is depending on someone to catch a fish and give it to you, or second is you learn how to fish. So those are the two like analogies which I want to give you. If you depend on someone for a job, for entire life, you'll always depend on someone for a job. You will never learn how to find a job on your own. Once you learn how to find a job on your own, then for the rest of your life, you don't have to depend on anybody. So as long as you depend on some placement agency or some college or some institute, let's say, okay, today you'll take help of someone and join. After 2 years, what will you do? And that's how people get stuck in their career. Once if you know how to crack the job code, like how to hunt for the job, if you do end to end, one time if you do that process properly by learning everything, okay, how do you build a resume, how do you optimize it, how do you post on LinkedIn, how will you increase the visibility, how do you do cold emailing, how do you do cold messaging, if you do it one time correctly, that is enough for you to keep repeating the similar strategy for the rest of your life. For example, in my entire life, I never asked anyone for any kind of I never went and applied in any portal. Any job which I get is through a referral. So I'll just reach out to my network. They will say, okay, this opportunity is good, this company is good, so and so people are already working. And that's how I got most of my opportunities. Till now, I only applied for internships during college by going to a portal. But for job opportunities, jobs always came to me. I never went for any job because two reasons. One is visibility. Second is that visibility. Why did it come? Because of the network. How did that network come? Because I was active on LinkedIn. But if you are passive, then what will happen is today you will depend on Mr. X to get a job. After 2 years, again you will pay some money and depend on Y. Again you will depend on Mr. Z. Throughout your life, you will be handicapped. So that now not everyone will agree with my thought process, but this is what I generally feel. So here in COE, we don't do spoon feeding. We want people to learn things on their own and become their own leaders. So that is the whole concept of COE, Center of Excellence. We don't want people who are just blindly following some instructions depending on some XYZ random person. So the whole concept of starting this community is to have that empowerment. So
Exactly.
I mean, Neela, whom you spoke about, everyone, like a lot of leads whom you are seeing in COE, they all started with very basic awareness. They don't even know how to do a cold messaging. They don't know what to post on LinkedIn. They had no idea. Today, if you ask them to search for a job on their own, they don't need anybody's help or guidance. They can do it on their own. So that is
Right.
where we see the entire COA community to look forward to. See, this is not about whether you're joining a course, not joining a course, and etc. Like 80% of the content which is in COA is completely free. Resume optimization, LinkedIn optimization, ebooks, Udemy courses, lot of free base we have on COE. Like 80% of the COE content is 100% free. With
We teach people how to prepare portfolios. The portfolio
portfolios, exactly.
review group is free.
There is a group for only data engineering job postings. There is one group for internships. There is one group for books. Only books will keep sharing. There is one group only to share the codes for Udemy courses. Like every day, or maybe like you can say every week, at least 10 courses you can get freely on Udemy with the discount code whatever we share. So
And
80%
and
of
and Sanjay,
uh,
at the top of it, we have regional groups. We have groups in almost all the metros where we just don't discuss technical topics. There might be a new, for example, let's say we have had Muskan who went from Bangalore to Gujarat, or
correct.
somebody came from Delhi to Bangalore. People have all kinds of questions, and we welcome those questions, whether they are
Correct.
about culture, or hey, where can I so Prem Sai went from Gujarat to Bangalore, and he said, hey, I don't know places to eat. There was Lakshmi to help him. There were
Correct.
many other people to help them.
Yeah.
So this is all about community, guys.
Yes. So building that community, empowering everyone to become independent, basically. So that's the whole idea of this community. So a lot of times what happens is a lot of spoon feeding happens in our school, and we are used to that spoon feeding. Even to do a very basic task, we have to depend on someone. That's not what we are envision. Like here, even when you talk to someone like Arun, like for example, he's from US, I'm from India. Our idea is it's a global community, and what we want is people who can become their own version of themselves, not copycat of someone, like their own unique version of themselves, and someone who can give back to the community as well once they get what they want. So that it's a give and take relationship, right? So when Nile, for example, when he first came to this COE group, he didn't know anything. He was stuck in a job which was like his salary was also very less. He was barely meeting his needs. Then okay, he was very active on LinkedIn. He was posting. Then he went into that resume optimization group. He has, so those videos are on YouTube. They are 100% free. Outside, if you go and ask resume optimization, they'll charge 5,000, 10,000 rupees for you. The same
Thank
thing
you for
here.
thank you for sharing
So
that,
the
Sanjay,
same,
because
ah,
I did want to talk about the COE YouTube, and we also have a presence. We have started a new thing on LinkedIn. So we will share those links with you if you already aren't aware of that. But please subscribe to the COE YouTube, subscribe to the LinkedIn. We'll be posting a lot of important information apart from what we share in the WhatsApp groups we have.
correct. So when Nile came, he was like barely meeting his rents. He was having enough money just to pay his rent and survive. Then with the guidance of many people, and also he was very active in COI. Like whenever we post any poll, he'll participate. Whenever we ask any question, he'll quickly answer. So he quickly connected with all of us, and then he joined an MNC. After that, he got like 150% hike. Then he joined an MNC. Then he had his first international travel. So he never even traveled in a flight in his entire life. Directly, his first flight travel was an international trip. Then he came back. Then he upskilled in Fabric. He built a portfolio for Fabric. So the point is, if you are just joining the group and just being silent, it will not add much of value for you. You are just wasting your time. But if you are in the group and if you actively participate, follow the guidelines, take advantage of the both free as well as paid resources, mostly free. Like I said, 80% is free. Then you'll be able to take full advantage of the group. But if you just stay passive, what will happen is you have 100 resources, but it's of no use when you're not using them. So this is my viewpoint about this entire COA, all this concept.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Sanjay, we have people, and to Sanjay's point, we have people ranging from zero experience who are freshers to people like, for example, I have about 30 years of experience. Many people are in the range of 20 to 30 years experience, and there's a lot to learn from everybody. There's a lot to learn from the freshers, there's a lot to learn from the mid-level people, there's a lot to learn from the senior people. So it depends on how you connect, with whom you connect, how you grow yourself, how you so that's why we keep on saying don't be silent in the groups,
yeah,
answer polls, network with people, learn out of let's say so many thousands of people, you can find maybe one mentor or one person that will help you learn something new. And at least all our leads, whether it is Nilay or Sanjay or myself or Prem Sai, Rashika Kale, Muskan Handa, Ashok, Vishal, we have a lot of volunteers, Aishwarya, Rachit Rawat. All of these people, if you look at them 3 years back versus now, they have grown immensely. I mean, um, all of us, including myself, I've grown immensely with this group myself, although I am 52 years old with all the experience, but my horizons have broadened interacting with, I always learn something new from somebody. So
correct.
keep your minds open, guys,
Yeah,
and participate.
yes, we want active participation, and like Arun was telling, yeah, like there are Prem Sai who helped us to organize. Like he's volunteering it. Like why is he doing it? Because for him it's visibility, for him networking. See, he's having a job, he's getting his salary, everything is fulfilled for him. But still, why is he doing it? So he's giving back to the community. So he got some success because of this community, and he's giving it back. Like everyone will play our own part to give back to what we gain from the community, and that's the whole idea. It's a give and take. So today maybe you're struggling, tomorrow maybe you'll get a very good job and you will help others. You will pass down that help, whatever you receive, to the next person. And just to close from my end, the closing thought. So, like, if I have to just summarize it in one line, the more active you are, the more luckier you will become. Because the groups have some people who have very high profile, they are not very active. Like some people, director in Morgan Stanley, architect in JP Morgan, like you have people from different companies. Like Muskan used to be part of Microsoft earlier. Now she's working in a different company. So you have different people. Suddenly, if you need a referral or if you want someone to vouch for you. Like, because what will happen is, in a network, if you go through a referral, it will be faster. Now, how will someone vouch for you? Like, how will someone says, okay, Sanjay is good? When you are visible, that will give confidence to other people to refer you. But if you are not visible, if you are invisible, you are just using the group for a particular need and exiting, then what will happen is no one will even trust you. So only when you have the trust factor in the market, someone will immediately come and refer you. Like I mentioned, right? I never applied for jobs. Why? Because I was always visible in the community. I'm very active on LinkedIn. Almost every week I post on it. So people know whether I know things or not. So it's easy for people to recommend me. Just go to my LinkedIn profile and see all the recommendations which people have given me. So that credibility is something you will get only with your visibility. If you think you will just get credibility in the market by getting certifications or something, no, you will not get it. So that's where I want to close my thoughts.
I think uh, there's no need to say anything more. I think nobody could have given a better closing thought. You know, if you talk to any of the leaders of COE, they all have they're on the same wavelength with the same energy, and they're doing a lot, guys. It's your turn now, whether you want to participate in the uh, you can remain in the general group, or you want to participate, do this structured program. So tell us immediately in the MS Fabrics group, because once we close the admissions, we won't be able to take any more seats. So we will have a short and small, small batch. Not more than 30-35 people will be there in the first batch. And so far we haven't decided if we want to do it a second time. We'll think about it later, depending upon the feedback and depending upon we'll gauge the interest of people as well. So having said that, I can take maybe one more question, and rest of the questions you can write in the group, and we'll be happy to answer them and give you the details.
Arun, I have to drop off. I am actually going.
Yeah, can we quickly give them the group link, or guys, if you can
I'm sharing. I'm sharing.
yeah, just share the group link, and then other questions I'll be available for some more time. Guys, I'm available for 1 or 2 more hours because I'm doing something. Working on my own stuff, but I'm available for a couple hours. And I'll be able to write the details and quickly give you information. And after that, uh, we'll quickly, within a couple days, we'll finish the enrollments and start on 13th.
Yes, and also there is one more group called Global Services. So that's the group where you will get all the information related to how to optimize your resume. I mean, that itself will take you one full day of time to go through.
Yeah, we have a lot of videos on there. I've created 4 videos, one for LinkedIn optimization, one for resume optimization, and 2 others for tips and techniques. So we ask everybody to submit their resumes where we, based upon their background and stuff, we counsel them. We show them, latest AI tools with which you can do that. We show them resume worded. So that's a whole other topic for another day.
Yeah.
But if you join that, you will get a lot of information from the people that are already there, and you'll be surprised on how many things where we have been able to do for free. Many of the we have in the last year itself, we have created like 350 to 500 plus certifications, and we have had many success stories, regardless of the groups we are in, whether we are SQL group, data engineering group. We have success stories all over, which we have shared in experience sharing sessions throughout the year. So if you have not been following us, please follow us on YouTube. Please follow us on LinkedIn, which we just started, and
Yes.
talk to any of the leads. They'll guide you in one or the other way.
Yes.
Having said that,
Yeah.
so thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sanjay. It was a great session where people got information on 600 and 700 programs. And also, thank you for speaking on behalf of Surya and giving people additional guidance. Thank you, Nilay, for participating. And I'm sure you, Prachi, and there are a few other people who have already completed the certification. And those people, I'm expecting that they'll not be sitting quiet after doing their own certification. They'll be sharing, just like Nilay sharing his knowledge by putting quizzes in the group. That's what I call an active participant. So I hope there'll be activity. Either you ask a question or start a discussion or come to us with a problem. All of those things are welcome. Okay. So thank you guys for attending today. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone. Thank you, Prem, for organizing. Bye, guys. So Sanjay has given information about the group. Please reach out to us in the group. I'll quickly cover all the information if there is any in that group. Thank you and bye.